afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you may be listening from. Welcome back to another episode of Cheeky Chip Chat. Of course, back live here on YouTube. Paul, back for another live show. How we doing? How we doing this week?
Doing great, man. Doing much better than you are. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to be upbeat. I'm trying to start things off with a little.
No,
What?
it'll be a good show. We were not gonna give Rahul too much grief today. Okay, everybody. Okay,
I even had to switch it up. I had to wear an Italia jersey to have, not have as much shame. I mean,
Look
of
at
course,
us rocking the international jerseys for international break.
the internet, as you said, the international break going on. Not that I'm really paying too much attention to these international fixtures, but of course, like to be in the spirit of it. Get that rep. Actually, this is a 21 jersey. Can I get the 21 in shot? No, I can't. That's 21. Andrea Pirlo. Does he play for Italy? No. Does he manage in Italy? Yes, no. He does.
He manages in Italy. He doesn't manage Italy.
Did he manage in Italy when I bought this shirt? No. No. I just like the guy. What can I say?
No, first, I would like to apologize to everyone. It's a little behind the scenes action. It's like dead silent for 30 seconds before Rahul starts the show. And I did not know. And that's why I had a little jump there at the beginning.
I couldn't signal you and be like, yo, dude, the show is about to begin. It was But what's important is we're here, we're ready to discuss the complete and utter shambles that will be today's show. Yeah, I mean, it will be what it will be. So, Paul, without further ado, would you like to dive straight into it? Or would you like to talk about FIFA 21? Although neither of us have played FIFA 21 yet, right? So maybe we'll say that for next week's show. We'll talk about...
We haven't played.
We haven't played yet. I feel like I vowed, in fact. I was like, I will not fall prey to the annual thing that is buying FIFA 21. Or FIFA, rather. I will not fall prey to it. I will not do it. I will stand firm, and I will say until you drastically change the game, I will not purchase it. Paul, I think what looks up, what's going to end up happening is I'm gonna buy FIFA again this year.
See, I think I'm gonna be strong enough not to purchase 21.
Are you gonna get Pez?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm just no soccer.
No
game
football.
This year.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see if it comes on sale later on. Who knows? But like, I don't know. The graphics haven't changed that much.
I don't want to. I just feel like I'm gonna get suckered in because it's all I play. I can't
get into Pez. I can't.
I've tried.
I can't do it.
I've tried. I can't. But anyway, we'll get out of simulation football. We'll get into there will be some simulation in the game that we're about to talk about, which we will discuss a little bit later on. In fact, a little bit later on. Let's just dive straight into it. Deep fried Paul. Manchester United hosting Tottenham, their first Big Six matchup of the year at home. Jose Mourinho, obviously on his return to Old Trafford following being unceremoniously dumped. Was it a season and a half ago already? About 2 seasons? About 2 years?
Yeah.
Almost 2 years ago now. Time flies. Time absolutely flies.
Flies when Ollie's at the wheel, baby.
Flies.
Time flies when Ollie's at the wheel.
I almost want to sing the song, but I remember we got smashed for 6. So
every time I hear Ollie at the wheel, I always just think of Rio Ferdinand. He's just like, put the thing in front of him.
Put the paper on the table.
Give him whatever number he chooses. Ollie's at the wheel. Manchester United's back, baby.
Hindsight is 2020. Hindsight's 2020. But in any case, we went into this game. At least I went into this game with much optimism. We put out a very strong team. Of course, starting with the likes of Pogba, Bruno, Matic, who has been instrumental in us being able to keep some clean sheets. Was not the case this weekend. Luke Shaw back playing left back over Brandon Williams, as he had played the previous week as well, recovering from that injury. Wan-Bissaka finally back in the lineup. We had been playing Fosu Mensah in there as a stand-in for right back, so good to see him back in the side. Overall, probably our strongest side, the side that had been pummeling other teams by, upward. I think we were the first team to score. Was it like 4 goals in 3 consecutive matches after the restart at the end of
Mhm.
last season? So same team, and I went into it pretty confident. And then Paul, you want to talk a little bit about Spurs' lineup? With any thoughts? The likes of Reguilon getting a start, Højbjerg in the midfield.
Yeah, I think we all saw the lineups and we were like, wow, these teams are going to be very strong teams. Højbjerg starting in the middle. Jason Mourinho seems to favor. Had a great game, by the way. I know there wasn't much of a game, but he really did have a standout game. I think the only surprise for us was that Serge Aurier was starting. Right, I know Jordan, one of our resident
Resident
Tottenham
Spurs
fans,
fans, yeah.
yeah, was quite shocked that Aurier was starting. Turned out he had a great game too.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about him with the
Uh,
goal and the assist. With the goal and the assist.
Honestly, not much to say about either lineup. I thought both teams came to play. That was good to see.
Uh-huh. The,
And
the only thing I would probably point out is Eric Lamela getting the start up at the top up top for Tottenham as part of the attacking line.
yeah, we have to remember this was like their fourth game in like 7 days or something like that.
Mhm.
So we did expect a little bit of rotation in there.
And they had just
Um,
played Chelsea in the League Cup, I believe, after having their previous, because they got through the previous round due to a COVID disqualification or cancellation or something like that. Which we will get. Actually, let's just bring it in now, Paul. I mean, we're just gonna go off the cuff. Let's just bring this in now.
we're chilling.
We were going to also cover Juve Napoli in addition to this match. It was going to be one of the fixtures we were going to bring in from Italy, try and get some more Serie A in the show. And it probably would have saved us because, as we said, this game was not very interesting given the scoreline. So we figured, hey, maybe Juve Napoli, even though Napoli lost a few players and sacked Ancelotti already. Still one of the big teams in Italy. So would have been a nice game for us to get to see. Had it actually taken place, because Napoli did not show up, having had a couple of their players test positive for COVID-19. I believe they had played some other team in like a Coppa Italia or some game of that nature that had their opponents had tested positive for COVID-19, and it appears that that was transmitted to some of their players and staff. So they ended up not showing up for the game, and the game was actually canceled 45 minutes after its scheduled kickoff time. I think there's still some dispute over whether Juve are actually going to get handed the 3 points or whether they're just going to reschedule the match. Because I know Napoli, Aurelio De Laurentiis, the president, had been asking for that match to be postponed, saying it's not fair. We tested positive for COVID because of this. Can we have the match rescheduled? So we'll see what happens if Juve ends up with the 3 points by default, or if they end up playing that match. And if they do end up playing that match, we will likely cover it in a future edition of Deep Fried. But Paul, back to this game, for like the 10th time. Let's finally get it. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to stall. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about the game.
I get it.
I get it. Because no one wants to talk about it when their team gets smashed for 6. I mean, this is one of the few times that we'll reveal the score right at the start of the game because it kind of colors the conversation. Manchester United, of course, getting smashed for 6 goals by former United manager Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspurs, 6-1. 6-1 at home at Old Trafford, the theater of dreams, becoming the theater of memes. Shambolic, really, shambolic. Where would you like to start, Paul? Would you like to start with the penalty? Do you want to go straight to the red card? Do you want to talk about any goals, tactics? What do you want? Where do you want to go with this?
We could start with the penalty for second minute in.
Apt. 30 seconds, in fact. Not even second minute. There was not even 1 minute.
I see. Passed. That's when Bruno scores the
finally
actual
scores
goal
the penalty.
Yeah.
Actually, a legitimate penalty, I have to say.
Yes, I have not been angry with a single one of United's penalties so far this season.
that was the only thing I wanted to talk about the penalty is, Paul, this one was legit because I know we got a lot of crap on this show for diving. Not winning the most kosher of penalties, but that was perhaps the most penaltiest of penalties. I have to say, the reckless tackle definitely makes contact with Anthony Martial, brings him down. Bruno Fernandes, beautiful penalty. He takes the most beautiful penalties of all penalties, in fact. So that's just, there's nothing else to say about that. So we go 1-0 up. Next thing I know We're 2-1 down. And 7 minutes have gone by. We're 2-1 down. Paul, absolute blitzkrieg start from Tottenham to respond that quickly.
Yeah, when Ndombele scored that goal in the 4th minute, like right after the restart, pretty much after the penalty, I was, oh, this is gonna be a good game, because I was initially like, here we go, Manchester United starting off strong, penalty in the first minute or so. We're gonna see probably another, especially with the new handball rules, we're gonna probably see another 4 or 5 this game.
I
We
was
did see
excited.
another one this game. Oh yeah, I'm sure you were. I was excited. I as someone who had no stake in the game, considering I dislike both teams, it was a fun, it was just an enjoyable game to
For
watch.
you, this is like what, like me watching Liverpool versus Manchester City, where I'm like, I just want you both to lose. Like, I don't care. I don't care what happens. If you both lose, it's fine. Well, I want you each to get 0 points.
Well, see, I was torn, Rahul. I was really torn because naturally dislike Tottenham, right?
Right.
Second best club in North London. We don't every time we don't like to associate with them. I'm not a Tottenham fan in any way, but
It's just hilarious how many Spurs fans we bring on this show, given that that's the case. Maybe I just like winding you up, man. Just bring on your sworn enemies just to watch you quabble over the petty thing of being the best club from North London. Anyway, continue.
that's all right. We give them their chance, they're 15 minutes in the light, right? That's what it is. No, and so
Well, they don't have any light on in their trophy cabinet, so I mean, you gotta give them all
don't
the
like
chances they can
Tottenham,
get.
right? I don't personally, obviously the old rivalry back in the Wenger Ferguson days, great, I understand. But Manchester United, it just brings me joy when they don't perform well, because I know it's pissing you off, bro.
Man, I
But
mean,
I found myself kind of rooting for not Tottenham, but Jose Mourinho, because I have always been on the Jose side of the Jose versus United train. So it was good to see him spank United.
I'm smiling through my teeth because I'm so mad.
He's smiling through his tears, everybody. That's what he's really smiling through.
Yes, that's why I keep wiping my eyes. Harry Maguire, shambolic defending throughout the match, especially on the first goal. Basically, heading it straight into the path of Ndombele to finish it off. I have no idea what he's doing. He's tackling his own man. I think there was one point where he's tackling Luke Shaw and marking him and trying to bring him to the ground. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? You're the freaking captain. I'm gonna go in on Harry Maguire in just a few minutes. Yeah, absolutely shambolic performance from him. But before we get into the red card, I want to say this: the red card is not the reason why we lost this game. We were 2-1 down within 5 minutes of going 1-0 up, and we played for how many minutes is that? It was the 7th minute where Son scored, and the 28th minute where Martial gets sent off. So call it 20 minutes. We had 20 minutes where we were playing 2-1 down. And so, in my opinion, we thoroughly deserve to lose this game, because tactically Jose exposed the flaw in Ali's system. He finally figured it out. Ali's been playing the same system, more or less, since the restart. And the problem with that system, and it's something that he's been less exposed about in the past because of how defensive and counterattacking he's been. Ever since the advent of Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League, he's begun playing a more progressive style, which has meant that the attackers stay more forward and don't come back and help out the defense as much. The problem is, because our fullbacks tuck so narrow, and they're focused on marking the left and right wingers, when Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood don't come back and defend because they're playing more progressive and trying to stay on the shoulder of the last defender and get in behind, because that's our whole attacking play, it means that all Spurs have to do is send up an extra fullback, right? Now, I will say the reason we lost this badly is because we went down to 10 men, because following the red card, we will come back to the red card incident, of course, but just kind of bringing the effect of the red card into this whole thing. When Martial gets taken out of the central striking role, Marcus Rashford is the one who ends up sliding over to cover that space. Marcus Rashford slides over from left wing into that striking role, and he and Greenwood, respectively, both keep swapping and filling that role, and the other one goes out to fill their wing role. The problem is when Spurs send up their fullbacks when we're down a man, like Serge Aurier down the right hand side. If Marcus Rashford slides over, Luke Shaw is now getting double teamed because he's now got Eric Lamela or Heung-min Son, depending on if they've switched or not. He's got one of those two on his back, so he's having to mark them. But then there's nobody to cover the run or to cover the cross or stop the cross coming from Serge Aurier, which is why Serge Aurier was able to score a nice goal because he was running in practically unmarked. It's why he's able to put in a nice cross for an assist, and it's a systemic problem. It's shambolic, but it's a systemic problem that has now really been exposed. We were getting away with it a little bit where, fullbacks were tucking in a little bit too much and we were getting away with it. But this time around, we really got exposed. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Solskjaer can adjust his system to fix that. Because I promise you, now that everyone's seen just how to exploit that particular flaw in this system and these tactics, other managers are going to do exactly the same thing. And we have a bunch of big fixtures coming up. Against the likes of the Big Six, a newly resurgent Everton, who I believe is top of the table. Paul. I believe they're table topping toffees, if you can say that 3 times fast.
Table topping toffees.
You like that one?
Toffees. I like that a lot. 12 points. Yeah, 3 points clear of everybody else, and everyone else has lost or drawn a game.
Yeah,
lost or drawn a game. Where is Liverpool? 9 points. Did Liverpool lose a game? They lost the last game. Oh, their last game. Duh.
Oh yeah.
the only thing that saved your weekend, Rahul. I'm like, did Liverpool lose a game?
Did Liverpool lose a game? That's how sad I was.
That's right. 7-2.
Yeah. They conceded more goals than we did. Granted, their first choice goalkeeper wasn't playing, but that's still no excuse to ship 7 goals. But in any case, that was my analysis of why we lost quite so badly. Was Spurs taking the opportunity to expose those flaws in particular in Ollie's system, and of course, Spurs being clinical on the counterattack. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, quality players, finding space, and it was once we were chasing the game, they had tons of space to run in behind. It was not good for us. Not a good day at the office for us. But any thoughts on tactics before we get to the red card, or do you want to go straight to the red card?
No, I mean, I think you've pretty much said it all. I don't want to really trash United too much, and I don't want to praise Tottenham too much. Honestly,
because you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, no, it's not even that. I just, Tottenham played Tottenham's game. We'll talk about Tottenham in the future. United, honestly, as you are correct in saying, it was a systemic issues. I think this just happened to be a day all those issues came to the front the way they did. I'm still really hoping that our initial top 4 pick isn't too far off, Raul.
Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we struggle to finish top 4, or did I say top 7? I may have even said top 6. And with the transfer activity on deadline day, I'm definitely a little concerned, but we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there, man. Slow your horses.
Slow my roll.
Slow your roll. Yeah. Let's get to the penalty, because this was the most dramatic part of this. And the red card. Sorry, this is the most dramatic part of the entire game, in my opinion. And I can set it up for you too.
Yeah. Go ahead. Because I'm too fuming about this incident to probably to say it with a straight face. So, please.
Yeah. So 27th, 28th minute. The official card's given the 28th minute. There's a corner kick, I believe it was, for Spurs.
Yes.
Corner kick for Spurs. And Lamela and Martial decide to get into a little rough around the box. Everyone gets a little rough around the box, but Lamela, according to the commentators, and we'll get to whether or not we actually think this is what happened, according to the commentators, puts his hand out, probably a little rougher than he should have. And it hits Martial in the chest, but then it slides up and hits him in the face. Martial takes exception to that and gives Lamela a nice little very light slap on the face. But Rahul, any contact to the face in an unsportsmanlike way, that's a straight red card. And Martial gets the straight red card while Lamella gets off scot-free. And now United down 10 men, 30, pretty much the 30th minute. And it's all downhill from there. Evo's already downhill. But so first, do you think Martial deserves a red in that position? We'll get to Lamella in a second because I think I know where you're going to say. But Martial first. Red card, no red card, maybe a yellow. What's your take on it?
Yeah. I mean, you can't do that. I know how it can be easy in the heat of the moment to lash out when you feel you have been wronged. We've seen it all over all kinds of sports. It's the guy who retaliates who's the guy who gets caught. This is not even just a sports thing. This is like a life thing. This is like a like I can remember in school there being incidents where like somebody like pokes somebody else like or like aggravates them, and then the person retaliates, and then the person who retaliates gets in trouble because that's the person who gets caught. Typically because the retaliation is a little bit of a step up from, it's a little bit of an escalation from, whatever was done to them. So, I mean, yeah,
I tweeted it out during the game. Martial, he knows better. Not even he should know better. He knows better.
Yeah, he knows better. At this point, there's no excuse. It is a red card. I
fiery Frenchman right there for you.
Yeah, I mean, he was on fire for us last season. So I mean, hopefully he can catch fire this season after he comes back from his 3-game suspension. I'm so sad.
There's no overturning that. Don't worry, you have El Matador to fill in his role. But yeah, and so let's get to Lamella then.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay, so Eric Lamella, who by the way, he didn't get away scot-free. He got a yellow card for this.
Okay. Sorry, but my apologies.
No, that's fine. He is one cheeky little. That's all I'm gonna say. You're a cheeky little guy because you know what you're doing when you throw your elbow out like that. And they say it hit him in the chest. I'd say it hit him like he was standing like this, and it hit him like here. So if it hit him in the chest, it hit him in the face at exactly the same time. And it wasn't a light tap, I don't think, the way Martial got hit. I think Martial got hit harder than Lamella did. But
I think so too.
Lamella sold it to the official because after being touched on the face, he went down like a small child. And after essentially instigating the incident and throwing his elbow out there recklessly, by the way, I would say that was reckless the way he did that. So personally, I don't see why that's not being investigated for a red card. And if anything, they both should have been sent off. Because I'm sorry, I will admit Martial shouldn't have retaliated, but Eric Lamella can't do that. Like that has no place in the game either for me. So I mean, I'm sorry. It was dirty. It was cheeky. All I'm gonna say is, karma's gonna come your way at some point. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to wish ill on you anyway. Karma's gonna come your way at some point. I think you got away with it, and you got away with it. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that's the reason we lost this game, but it did tick me off a lot because we were already losing, and then we lost our center forward, arguably one of, if not the best player on our team, because. And we got put down a man because of this particular incident. Instead of, maybe we lost him, but at least you guys lost somebody as well. So it's still an even match at 10v10. So, yeah.
I think Lamella deserved probably something more. It looked a little bit malicious. It was definitely harder than what happened to Lamella.
Yeah,
from
what was
Martial.
reciprocated.
Right,
Exactly.
So it's unlucky. Gets away with it.
Yeah.
My one question, not to belabor the point, who's more of a cheeky scumbag in your book right now, Rahul? Maupe or Eric Lamella?
Definitely Eric Lamella, because at least we got away with it against Maupe, because Maupe's karma happened at the end of the game when they conceded probably the first ever penalty to be awarded after the final whistle. But Yeah, when we beat Brighton last week, that was Mape's karma. But Eric Lamella's is still to come. Who knows? We'll play them later this season at some point. Whether that's, well, it won't be in the Champions League, I can tell you that. But
No, sorry, I can't talk on that one.
I won't be able to talk about it next season most likely. So I got to get it all in now. So
Unless you win the Champions League this year.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Any given,
and now that I've put that out there, it's not gonna happen.
Any given Tuesday/Wednesday night/Sunday when the final happens. So
yep, any given Tuesday at Stoke. All right, yeah. Look, I don't know if you even want to talk about the rest of the game. There's not much else to talk about, right? Look, Harry Kane steps up to take that penalty in the 80th minute. Jose Mourinho is like the Emperor in Star Wars, just like, do it. And Harry Kane's like, it's not the Jedi way. Jose Mourinho doesn't care.
He's like, I shouldn't. But Jose, to his credit, after the game, to his credit, he did say, I feel bad for Ollie because I know what it's like to lose by such a bad margin while you're manager of that particular team. So he wasn't rubbing it in our face like he probably could have, and like some may have liked to have seen. So I gotta say, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm still not happy. So
6-1. The only thing that saved our whole weekend is that Liverpool lost 7-2.
Losing 7-2 to who's it? Aston Villa.
Well
done, Liverpool.
Aston Villa.
7-2. Wow.
So where do we head from here?
You can concede 6 goals. Can you imagine conceding 7? 7?
Yeah, but they scored twice, so I don't know.
Unthinkable. Yeah, but they also didn't. Did they go down to 10 men? They didn't, did they?
No, they did not.
They had 11 guys on the pitch.
Hey, I can't talk. We've lost. Arsenal's lost to both United and Bayern. By comparable scores. So whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
These
you guys conceded 8. Ooh.
Could be worse.
Ooh.
It could be Southampton versus Leicester last season.
Yes.
That was a fun one.
Shall we get on to transfer deadline day?
Yeah, transfer deadline day, because that's gonna set us up right for your big rant. Your big rant.
I haven't written anything down about the rant. The rant's gonna just kind of be a stream of consciousness. Yeah. Off
the cuff. No, I believe you. I think you've written enough in the group chat that I know that you have thoughts on this whole thing. Yeah. So do you want to talk? We've talked some of the big transfers. Do you want to talk about Thomas Partey, Alex Telles? Do you want to talk about Chris Smalling?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start with this?
Let's go in that order. Let's start with Thomas Partey. Paul, he's had that release clause at Atletico for a little while now. I've been wondering why no big clubs have gone in for him from Atletico, because he's such a quality player. Everybody rates him. He's good. He has creativity, but he's also super tenacious in defense. He's a solid player to stick in your midfield, just as a multi-purpose kind of guy. And for that, it was around 54 million euros release clause. That's a bargain in today's market for a player of his quality. I was wondering why more clubs didn't go in for him, and I think there was some issue with like his image rights, and some company partially owned some portion of his rights or something of that nature. But man, Arsenal got the deal done on deadline day, and he's going to be a great addition to your midfield.
Yeah, this was one of those players that pretty much since the beginning of the summer and kind of the tail end of last season, we obviously didn't play any Europe games over the summer, so
right.
The tail end of last season, Thomas Partey was one of the big names on that list that fans were just continuously bringing up. It was Upamecano, it was Thomas Partey, and then later on it becomes Aouar, however you pronounce his name. Yeah, Aouar. From Lyon. But Thomas Partey was kind of that big signing that everyone was saying that we needed in the midfield to kind of strengthen it up. And I hate to rub this in, but I'm glad our board did something and got the player that everyone kind of needed, that we knew we needed to bring in.
You were like Salt Bay over there, just sitting there like this. Over my open wound. Oh god.
This doesn't happen too often, Rahul. I gotta take him where I can get them, And it is a great signing. It is a phenomenal signing for the midfield. Lucas Torreira went the other way in a way, and we kind of had this done deal. Much like United, Arsenal did not want to pay that full price. They did not want to play that release clause. There was a couple of other, times we put a bid in for Thomas Partey, but it was rejected by Atletico Madrid. And then finally, on that deadline day, La Liga informed Atletico that Arsenal had in fact paid up the 50 million euro buyout clause. And yeah, so here we
Definitely
are.
seems a tactic by some of these Premier League clubs trying to flex that muscle and say even for reasonable prices for players, like I mean, I would argue that a lot of the prices that were thrown around for some players this transfer window were valid.
Mm-hmm.
Some in recent years transfer prices have, become very excessive. I mean, we can even talk about Harry Maguire going for 80 million. What the heck is that? The likes of or some other over. I mean, you can talk about Nicola Pepe even last season. I mean, I'm sure you would agree that's a lot of money to spend on Nicola Pepe. And then you come in this transfer window, you got Jadon Sancho available for about 108 million pounds. I am going to throw that in there. I would say that he's worth that. I mean, you've got Thomas Partey available for 54 million euros. Definitely say he's worth that. You got Alex Telles available for 15 million euros. I'd say he's worth that. And yet these clubs are, trying to flex that financial muscle in the Premier League and just saying like, no, we're not going to pay that because we don't think he's worth it, which is strange to me because I think they are worth it, but they're just clearly trying to, it's a sign of the times, I guess, trying to really flex that financial muscle and get the best possible deal they can because they need to save every possible cent because fans are not being allowed in the ground. And with every passing day, they're losing money.
Yeah, I think COVID-19 has definitely popped the bubble that we were seeing,
Yeah.
in the past few seasons of the just overpriced players. I would say the only team that overspent on a player this transfer window is Manchester City when they got Ruben Diaz for 65-ish.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot, right? That you could say is a lot. But everybody else kind of relatively comfortable prices.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Partey, I think definitely worth that. And I'm glad that Arsenal put some money behind Arteta and got some good players. Not to mention they brought in Willian, which is a good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in a replacement for Emi Martinez. Don't remember the kid's name right off the top of my head, but I think he's coming over from Ligue 1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So successful window for Arsenal, in my opinion. Successful window.
All right.
For
All right.
And the big thing is re-signing Aubameyang to that contract.
Yeah, that was
right?
big. That was big.
So
Though I will say this as I say about United, and many other fans say exactly the same thing about United. Contract extensions don't have to take place during the transfer window. They can take place at absolutely any time during the year. So, possible Arsenal using a tactic out of United's book where they re-sign a player to a contract extension during a transfer window so that it feels like you've signed a player, even though you haven't, because you already have the player.
Well,
very interesting.
Very, very true. Before we get to your United transfers, let's just go over. We've talked about James Rodriguez going to Everton already, I believe.
We
so
may
I don't
have
want to.
mentioned it, yeah, but he's been tearing it up.
Oh, he's been such a good signing.
Tearing
Such
it
a
up.
good signing.
You may not have. You may be a little bit older now, and you may have lost maybe a yard of pace from when he was a little bit younger. But I'm saying that like he's like 33 years old. He's not. I don't even think he's even 30. Is he 28?
He might even be younger than that. Give me a second.
Yeah. But regardless, when you have that much,
29. He's older.
He's
29.
29.
So, yeah.
Okay, 29. Yeah. But when you have that much quality in your boots, it's gonna shine through regardless. And definitely, Carlo Ancelotti showing he knows how to deploy him. And it's exciting to see a player that I really like doing well. So
yeah. So I just want to mention 3 more transfers. We don't even have to talk about them, but I just kind of want to put them out there. I do want to talk about one of them because I just have a little spiel that I want to give.
okay.
And I think you know where I'm coming from with this. The one kind of a loan deal that impressed me the most is Douglas Costa going back to Bayern from
Bayern,
Juventus. Yeah. I think he was a very good pickup for Bayern back when they had him on loan earlier. I think I want to say I think I want to say he went back in like 2018 when he goes back to Juventus. So I think that's a great loan deal.
Hmm.
And sorry, I gotta run through these notes. Rhian Brewster. This was kind of my most shocking one. Ryan Brewster, whatever his name is. I don't know. He's a Liverpool
He's a
player.
Liverpool player. We don't care.
He's a former Liverpool player. So he's a Liverpool youngster, and you always think that these teams want to keep their youngsters, especially such bright ones as Ryan Brewster. But
Yeah.
no, Liverpool sell him to Sheffield United for about 25 million pounds, which
He
is
had
actually
featured for them several times last season,
Mhm.
which I guess kind of begs the question: was he featuring because they wanted to develop him, or was he featuring because he was being put in the shop window? And I guess the answer is the latter.
Yeah. I was just as shocked because, exactly. They do have a sell on clause, which is needed, especially for young players. But
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was really shocked because Liverpool, I'm not gonna say that they're like selling them to like a rival, but Sheffield United is going to be probably either
One of
right
the
in
more
the top
irritating
right
teams to play in the Premier League for sure.
right in the top 10 or right outside the top 10. I'm gonna see them right around that 11 to 9 mark, I think is a fair thing to say
And if
for
they
them.
overachieve like last season, it'll be even higher. So I mean,
Yeah. So
we'll
who
see.
knows? Who knows what to say? Ballsy move. Can I say that? Yeah, ballsy move. Going with the selling of the youngster. And the final one I want to mention before we get to your beloved Manchester United transfer window is an interesting move. Okay, so we talked about Weston McKennie a couple of weeks ago, and now we're seeing Serginho Dest, another youngster from the United States, going from Ajax to Barcelona, and he's actually the first U.S. Men's national player to start for the first team in Barcelona. And I don't know too much about Serginho Dest. I know that he's been on the radar for the US. There was some drama with him maybe not playing for the US, maybe playing for the Netherlands because I believe he was born in the Netherlands. But he goes to uh, Barcelona from Ajax for about 20 million euros. Good price. That's a good price right there. Not the Pulisic price, but for an unknown entity,
Yeah.
Serginho Dest going, that's a lot. So here's my thing. Okay. And I said I would bring this up on the show, and I want to say this. I think this kind of leaning towards American players is not necessarily a sign that American players are becoming better. Okay. I don't think they've necessarily improved. I think they're good, right? I think they're, pretty good players, but I don't necessarily think they're going to Barcelona type of players or going to Juventus type of players. I think this is what we're seeing right now is big clubs are realizing that there's an American market that they need to tap. And the quickest way for them to tap into that market is to buy these American players. And I think that's just giving American players a little bit more of an opportunity to go to these big clubs that maybe they deserve. I'm not saying they don't. I think Christian Pulisic definitely showed that he deserved a big club move. But
Yeah.
these other players that haven't really shown much in terms of what they can do, getting these opportunities because I think it's just such a savvy business move for those clubs. That's all
I
I gotta say on it. Yeah.
I can definitely see where you're coming from there. And I'm sure that's probably part of it that goes into, when they make the decision to sign these players. I mean, because the second that you hear that there's an American playing for that team, at least as a soccer fan from the US, you immediately start to pay so much more attention to what that team's doing. I probably wouldn't give as much of a crap about Schalke, but I would pay attention to the score a little bit and see if Weston McKennie played. There are other teams. I mean, where did Serginho Dest came from? Ajax, right?
Yep.
So I mean, I may not have paid attention as much to Ajax, but if Serginho Dest was playing there, I may have tuned in a little bit more to kind of see what he's doing if I was interested to see Americans playing in Europe. And it's good. It's promising to see Americans playing
Yeah.
in better and better leagues instead of kind of relying on the MLS to develop them, because let's face it, the MLS is just not on par with these other leagues. So it's nice to see that they're getting these opportunities. And yeah, I mean, I think it can only be a good thing for the development of Americans in the future, because increasing that international reputation of players that represent the U.S. Can only be a good thing for players from the U.S. down the road. So it's a good thing.
I think so too, and I'm very excited. I like me my U.S. international players,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm very happy that he's getting that opportunity.
Yeah.
And look, we're gonna have to get B in sports for any La Liga games, but
We'll be covering some
hey,
La
maybe.
Liga soon, man. Well, don't worry, don't
Yeah,
worry. We like to cover.
I know.
We like to get over there, especially. I
That
mean, I'm glad that Messi stayed, because we would have lost a big talking point from La Liga. So let's just say I'm glad he stayed.
Yeah,
But
the only other talking point was Sergio Ramos at this point. No. So that's the last kind of big. I know there was a bunch of them, but we can't go through all the transfers, right?
yeah, it was a lot.
We could talk about how I called the Higuain to
Inter
Miami.
Miami.
I'm not just, but let's get to United, okay? Because all summer, Raul, I was hearing Jadon Sancho is going to United. In fact, I heard he was on the plane. He was on the plane to United. Same travel agent as Bruno Fernandez. I know I've made that joke before, but clearly the same travel agent. Should probably stop using them. And instead of Jadon Sancho landing and becoming the number 7 at United, we have El Matador Edison Cavani coming in for a free. Hasn't played in 6 months. Just throwing that out there. And Alex Telles, which is actually a really good signing, coming in is kind of that strengthen up that left back position. And I don't know if there are any other big moves coming out, but Chris Smalling coming out is kind of the biggest move I saw, right? And I know you got that Uruguayan kid. Don't even remember his name off the top of my head. You called him the Daniel Jones of Uruguay. So I don't even know how to attack this. I don't want to hurt your
I'm
feelings
like
in any
so
way.
livid. I don't even know where to start because I'm just so mad. I
You were so confident on Sancho.
know. I was so confident, and I was like, "There's no way that they won't do this because of the backlash they're going to get if they don't do this." And then they didn't do it. And I'm like, oh my god, they've actually asked for it. So now I have to think, like, what's gonna happen? How are fans gonna react? I'm already seeing tons of Glazers out movements trending on Twitter. I'm seeing hashtag Chevrolet is dead. Like, people trying to attack the sponsors to kind of try and say, oh, if you're sponsoring Manchester United, then we're gonna come after you so that we can attack the Glazers' pockets. There's all kinds of interesting tactics and reactions going on. I don't understand. And I saw a few things written, in different places. Nobody will ever know for sure what happened, but I saw something where they were saying, and I don't remember where, but they were saying basically that Dortmund's deadline was actually on August the 10th, and Woodward and Matt Judge, who's United's chief negotiator, for those who don't know, Woodward and Matt Judge had an intermediary who was dealing with Dortmund's intermediary, and Dortmund's intermediary said, "We will not sell him after August the 10th. This is the price. It's 120 million euros. Pay up or you're not getting him." And then their intermediary basically went, "Don't worry, they're bluffing. They'll sell him anyway. Just hold strong. They'll cave." And so, like I said, Premier League clubs trying to flex that financial muscle, coming in and going, "Oh, nope, we're not going to pay. We're not going to pay. We're not going to pay." And then they come in at the last minute and they're like, "What if we almost pay?" And Dortmund's like, "Dude, we said the deadline was like a month ago, or like a month. It was like August the 10th. It's now October the 8th. It was like 2 months ago." So my question is, who the heck is this intermediary? Why did you believe him? Why was this negotiation such a shambles? My thing is, don't try and play hardball if you're not holding the cards, right? If you're not holding the cards, you can't try and strong arm people because they're just going to tell you to go screw yourself, and then you get screwed. So because Jadon Sancho signed an extension last summer for an additional year on his contract, he had 2 years remaining on his contract, which means that Dortmund don't need to sell him this summer. It is arguable that maybe they would need to sell him this summer if his contract expired, if his contract was expiring, because they could say like, "Oh, well, we won't be able to get this good of a price for him next summer because then at that point he'll be out of contract the next year." So because there are several years remaining on his contract, Dortmund don't have to sell because they'll be in the same position next year. So at that point, United can't go in and say like, oh, we're not going to pay the fee, because Dortmund are going to be like, well, we have him under contract and we'll figure it out. And it's possible that if he plays even better and the economy the football economy that is, recovers from this coronavirus slump, we'll be able to sell him for 200 million. So why the heck should we accept any less than we're asking from you? And United sat there like idiots for 2 months, and they seemingly didn't pay attention to any other deals at right wing until like right before deadline day, because I only heard whispers about Amad Diallo Traore and I only heard rumors about Facundo Palestri like a week before the deadline. So these were clearly last minute deals for me. Like they only started taking these deals seriously last minute when they realized, holy crap, Dortmund actually aren't going to cave. And it really bothers me because we have this systemic issue with Solskjaer, right? Where I was talking about how we have, you know, the wingers who like to stay forward and aren't going to defend because we're playing this more progressive style now, right? That only works if your forwards finish the chances they create. Now, it's not Solskjaer's fault if the forwards miss the chances, right? It's not Solskjaer's fault if Martial misses a sitter, or if Rashford misses a sitter, or if he's running through one-on-one and slips on the ball and then the defender catches up to him. That's not Ollie's fault. That's the player's fault. But to play this kind of system, he needs balance on both wings because the forwards are interchanging. Now we've got Mason Greenwood playing up there on the right wing now, but the problem is he's not a winger, he's a striker. So what happens is he tucks in, we have no balance on the right side, so all the opponents have to do is pack the box to stop Mason Greenwood because they have to get enough men in front of him to stop his shots. They don't have to worry about anyone cutting in from right wing because Mason's not going to do that. All they have to, and which means they can concentrate more on the left side, well, United's left side, their right side, and they can focus on stifling Marcus Rashford, which is what has been happening. And so inevitably, you end up in a situation where you need balance from the right side. And we had the chance to get a generational talent, to get a young player who is proven at a very, very high level for a price that is not unjustified for the performance he's been putting in the Bundesliga, which is one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, where the champions of Europe come from, and in the Champions League itself, where he's proven he can perform. We had the chance to get him, and you messed it up because you listened to the wrong people, and instead we end up in a situation where I feel real bad for Amad Diallo Traore and Facundo Palestri, because all United fans and other people are going to do are going to judge them on the basis that they are not Jadon Sancho, and that is not fair to them. Because it's sad, because they're coming in for the opportunity of their lives, and they should arguably be able to develop in the youth team and be groomed and be put into the first team when they're ready. Instead, because of poor planning, they're going to be thrown into the first team and say sink or swim, and when they inevitably have a blip because they're young players, and that's what happens, everybody's going to say, well, if you had signed Jadon Sancho, this wouldn't happen. They're not Jadon Sancho. This player's crap, blah, blah, blah. And their career at United is going to be much harder than it should have been, because you didn't do the business that you frankly should have done had you been competent at negotiating, competent at performing transfers, and competent at doing your freaking job.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I'm sorry that you didn't get Jadon Sancho, because who doesn't want to see Jadon Sancho? Right?
I wish we had seen him back in the Premier League in Manchester red. It's possible now. I've heard apparently he's pissed off. Maybe he'll go in Liverpool red next season. Who knows? Because Liverpool's forwards are getting older. So they're going to be in the market for a forward next year. I'm going to think, because they seem like the kind of team that thinks ahead, strategizes about these kinds of things. They didn't spend a lot of money this summer. Possible they're saving for a big outlay next summer on the likes of somebody like a Jadon Sancho. We will just have to wait and see. Obviously, Klopp with that ex-Dortmund connection. It's possible. That's all I'm going to say. But that's all I'm going to say. Manchester United in a mess for the... Oh, and I didn't even mention El Matador. How could I forget? Signing... And don't get me wrong, he's now a United player. He's now our number 7. So I back him. He's going to be He's going to be brilliant. He's going to be absolutely superb. But if we're
He
being
might
honest,
actually be brilliant.
he might actually be brilliant. I'm not just
He's a
saying this.
great
Like, I
striker.
genuinely am expecting something from him this season. Am I expecting Jadon Sancho levels from him this season? No. But I expect him to make a sizable contribution given the quality of player he is. But to sign someone who, of his own admission, was on the verge of retirement, to then pay as much as they did to his agent, and however much they're inevitably going to have to pay him in wages because they're getting him on a free, to then give him the number 7 shirt for 2 years. What has the number 7 shirt become? It was supposed to be the symbol of, a great player entering the prime of their career, or a promising prospect who's like a world beater wonder kid. And instead now it's just become something that we give it to players who are past it, to get them to come, so that here we have the privilege of paying you way too much money to be here. So we'll see. Will I be getting a number 7 jersey from United this season as I was hoping I would? No, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I wish Cavani all the best, obviously, but again, not expecting too much from him.
Yeah, 33 years old. I think he's PSG's. He has
all-time
the most
leading
goals.
goal scorer. Yeah,
all-time leading goal scorer for PSG.
Yep.
Hasn't played in 6 months, so hey, we'll see. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, kind of a questionable, in my opinion, transfer window.
And I also don't want this to get misquoted or misappropriated. I wish Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore all the best when they come here. I want them to do the best they can, and I hope they become these ridiculous wonder kids, and Woodward proves us all wrong, that he pulled off 2 bangers of deals and signed the next freaking Neymar and Messi and these kids. But I don't know. And even if he does, he'd be getting it right against the statistics and the odds. So we'll have to just trust the scouting on that one and hope it kind of pans out. But Paul, it is about that time. Unless you have anything else to say about Manchester United.
No, that's it. I got it. We good.
It is about that time, of course, where we play the Trivia Championship. And as part of it, again, because it's just you, no trivia questions just yet. When we get our other guys back on the show, we'll get back to the trivia questions. But it is time for us to play a game of 20 questions. The game, of course, where Paul has 20 yes or no questions to ask me, 15 seconds per question, or he loses one. And he has to guess who I'm thinking of. Of late, he has been absolutely killing the game. Last week, he got it in, what was it, 6 questions?
6 questions, I think it was.
6 questions. So we'll see. We'll see how well he can do. But Paul, let the questioning begin.
Let's do it. Is this 15 seconds between, or I lose a question? Do you want to keep it going, everybody? Is this person a current player?
They are, yes. That is one.
All right. They are a current player. Do they play in the Premier League?
No, they don't.
Do they play in Serie A?
Yes, they do.
All right. Do they play for a traditionally big club in Serie A?
Yes, they do.
All right. Didn't really narrow anything down for me, everybody. I regret that question. I thought it was smart, but I was not. Is this person play for Inter Milan?
Nope.
AC Milan?
Nope. We're
Juventus.
already doing better than last week because you still haven't gotten it yet.
It's fine. Juventus?
No.
Do they play for Napoli?
No.
Do they play for Lazio?
No.
Are there other traditionally big Italian clubs? Oh my god. Oh, do they play for Roma?
Yes.
Oh.
The capital, Paul. I don't know if you know that.
It is the capital of Italy, everybody. All right, so they play for Roma.
That's 10.
Did they just get to Roma? No. I'm not. No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Do they play defense for Roma?
No.
Okay. Do they play? Are they a striker?
No.
Okay. Oh, there's so many good options it could
Not a
be, Raul.
striker. No.
Not a striker, but a forward.
Yes,
All right.
that counts as a question.
Yeah, sure. Are they Spanish?
Yeah.
Is it Pedro?
Yes, it is. 15. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
I'm
Had to
talking
work
about
you a little bit
everybody.
harder for that one. Well done. Well
I
done,
can't
Paul.
believe I forgot Roma. That's absolutely a big
I was
club in
really hoping
Italy.
you would just forget and crash and burn so I could win for once, but it looks like we'll have to try again a little bit harder next week to stump you. It was funny because you asked did they just get there, and I was like, actually, in fact, they did.
I was thinking you wouldn't go with Michael Smaldini or Smaldino. Uh,
Well, either one.
Smaldini. Yeah,
I think it's
whatever.
Smaldini, but Smaldino works too. If you want to add that little
Smaldini because it's yeah,
a la Maldini, yeah.
Maldini. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Would you like to give a shout out to our social media?
Yeah, follow us at Cheeky Chip Chat on Twitter and Instagram, and just look up Cheeky Chip Chat on Facebook. Right down there, it might be. Hopefully, it's popping up right
It is
now as
popping
I
up right. It was
speak.
actually popping up
There
right
we
as you were
go.
talking. There you go.
There we go. So follow us at Cheeky Chip Chat on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and follow me and my personal Cheeky Chip Chat account for some fun football memes and not so serious takes on football at Cheeky Paul on Twitter. And yeah, that's all I got for you, Raul.
Fantastic,
I
fantastic.
got for you.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Rahooligan for all kinds of cheekiness. General, I pretty much all I tweet about is football. So I mean, there's that. I would
If
like to
not
give a
European,
shout.
then American, right?
Yes, of course, Also about the Ravens. I would like to give a shout out to Purple Planet Music for providing the intro music this week. You can check them out at purple-planet.com. And I would also like to invite you to visit our website at cheekychipchat.com. Just like as Paul said, I'd like to get a little bit more traffic going over there.
Yeah, I forgot that last week. I'm so sorry, Raul.
It's all good. It's all good. And of course, please like the video, subscribe, share it with anybody you know who enjoys cheeky content, cheeky soccer content. We are, of course, the cheekiest soccer podcast this side of the Atlantic. And we invite you to join us next week. And until then, this has been Cheeky Chip Chat. We hope that you chips will keep it cheeky until we chat next time. Take care. All right, we're offline.